Namaste. I thought of doing a video on shadow work. Why? Because I'm coming across the term called shadow work a lot. And if you are in at the path of spiritual realization, the term called shadow work is holding such an importance. We know, according to Upanishads, there are 4 states of consciousness is existing. One is Jagrat. Jagrat means the everyday living or the everyday activities which we are going through. And when I am talking about all these 4 state of consciousness, it is very important to understand, are you really fully living that particular state of consciousness? The problem to understand a particular subject fully, it is essential to understand what we don't know about that particular subject fully. Then only we can actually understand what is the meaning of fully. However, when we are going through these 4 states of consciousness, one is Jagrat. It is very important to understand, are we living the Jagrat fully? Jagrat is the state of being which happens while we are awoke, at least in the dimension of physical existence. It is very essential to understand, are we into this physical existence fully? Are we experiencing all the dimensions in this physical existence fully, such as length, breadth, height and time? These 4 dimensions, are we experiencing fully? Then only we can go to the farther dimensions. Anyway, this is the Jagrat. Jagrat is the state where we are, which makes us to deal with the everyday living fully. So this is the Jagrat state. Swapnam is the next state. It's a dream. When we look into the way which we asleep, there is a state which we go into Swapnam, which means that it is a dreaming state. To experience the dreaming state fully, it is essential to go through dream yoga, or at least minimum keeping a dream journal is essential. About the dream, I have made another video which you could see in my YouTube. So it is very essential to understand, are we living fully? Are we experiencing the dream fully? The next state, the third state, is Sushupti. In this state, we are not even dreaming. It's beyond dream. There is not even dreams are existing. So this is called the state of Sushupti, where we are deep asleep and not even dreams are disturbing us. So this is called Sushupti. And fourth state, that is Turiyam. Simply we can translate it into English as the fourth. In this particular state, we are not aware of anything. Even whoever the rishis is being explained, it cannot be explained via words, because it's beyond words. A state, something which is beyond words, you can simply call it as fourth or the Turiyam. So this is the fourth state of the existence, fourth state of the consciousness, the Turiyam. So there are total 4 states. Why I am explaining this? Why I am talking about this 4th state? Because in the 4th state, if you go to the 4th state and come back, then only you can answer the questions which is beyond the physical existence. The physical existence, which is a mere simulation or a mere Maya. The 4th or the Turiyam is the existence or super conscious existence, we can call it in this way. It's a super conscious existence. So that's something which was beyond the physical existence, or which is beyond the experiential dimensions that could perceivable via our 5 senses. Only when we are in the 4th state of existence, then only we can break out what all these 5 senses can give us. Because our understanding will be developed in a certain order that is being perceived through our 5 senses. So if we need to develop an understanding which is beyond death and birth, then we have to go to the 4th state. And this is something which we cannot experience with the 5 senses, which as a human being everybody has. In order to understand, in order to experience the constant bliss and to get answers of all the questions which is far beyond the mind, and to get answers on everything which actually bothers us a lot, like what is beyond death, the soul exists, and what is the exact nature of me as a conscious being. that is ever expanding, like the universe. Universe is ever expanding. It's expanding with an acceleration. The universe is expanding with an acceleration. It's not just expanding in a constant speed, it's expanding with the acceleration. Similar way, our consciousness, which is beyond the physical dimensions, can be expand without any kind of acceleration, any kind of constant speed. It can expand like anything. So to experience this certainty, it is essential to experience the different layers of consciousness fully, completely. This is how you can experience the state which is beyond the physical dimensions, which is beyond the body, which is beyond anything. The true nature of us, if you really want to. So how do we get into such a state of existence or such a state of blissfulness? This is where the shadow work come into picture, because in this physical layer of existence, we get conditioned in different way with the society, culture, the parenting, and many things which will get conditioned us. So shadow work cure us. Shadow work help us to see the things in much more way, in a multidimensional way or different viewpoint. The shadow work can bring a different viewpoint into the life. So that is why the shadow work got an importance. And it comes from Carl Jung, and he mentioned about this from his very important work, Man and His Symbol. From that, it start to come into the light, and this is very essential. And one thing at this particular point which we have to understand is this entire psychology. The entire psychology work around sick people. You understand? The entire psychology work around sick people. The analytical criteria, the way the work is being done in the modern psychology is to cure people. Sick people, they want them to be normal. So they developed ideas and medicines and things like that around the sick people. So that is the entire ideology of modern psychiatry or modern psychology. But whereas Upanishad is not about curing people, it's about transcending this self, in order to understand, in order to get into a deeper state of mind which transcendent, which has answer for all these physical limitations, and which could transcend the mind into ever preceding reality, to God consciousness. This is the entire work of Upanishad. It is to transcend, it is to take men into the God's consciousness. It's not to cure people. It's not for transcending people. It's not meant for sick people. But the modern psychology is all about curing the sick people. But the important work from Carl Jung, which is shadow work, is very useful tool to dive deep into mind and intercept what is actually going on. According to Vedanta, there is two kind of knowledge is existing. One is right knowledge, which is Vidya, and another one is wrong knowledge, which is Avidya. So if you follow Vidya, you will go into the right place, and if you follow Avidya, you will go into the wrong place. And if we look into the modern social media, or the medias altogether, or the whatever it may be, it is all about, there is a kind of courses are coming out, like, it's about the personality improvement. Just work around the personality, and if it is improving your wrong habit, what happens? You will eventually end up in a wrong place with more intense wrong. You will be intensively wrong. And if you can only live intensively if your good qualities, or if what it is meant to you is being get accelerated, which is Vidya, not Avidya. But the personality development, the way it's work around the surface level of existence. So it's all about improving your talking style, improving your walking style, how you relate with the other. So if you keep just working on this, it will just improve the outside quality. It will never improve you. To understand who you really is, what you really is, it is essential to get into shadow work. However pretty you are, however beautiful you are, how much money you have, whatever your family was, doesn't matter. You have a shadow, and that shadow will grow the way you grow also. If you grow together, the shadow also going to grow with you. And this shadow, if you didn't understand this shadow, this is actually will suck out all your energy. It will actually make you to suffer a lot. It will never help you to heal. So it is very essential to look into the shadow. And what is that meant by shadow? And how to work with the shadow? In India, we call it as Kali. Kali is your shadow. You start from there. The things which is imprinted in your subconscious mind, which has to be purified, it start from Kali. There are animalistic properties existing in human being. So these things has to be sacrificed. So that is why in some places still people sacrifice animals in order to get blessings from the Kali. Why? Because these are animalistic instincts which exist in each human being. This has to be sacrificed, and the moment you sacrifice it, you will start grow from there. So it's very important to understand your shadow. And you cannot approach the shadow. You can't approach the shadow in a direct aspect. You have to be very logical, and your mind has to be in very introspective perception. Your mind should be having an introspective perception in order to approach your shadow. Then only you can approach the shadow properly. So here is some techniques which I would love to talk that enables you to approach your shadow. So how do we do the shadow work? To do the shadow work, we have to divide our life into part by part. So let's divide the life into each 7 years. The first part of the life is the place where you get birth into. How do you came into this particular physical existence? Then take another 7 years. In this particular time where you were, we can see in this moment of time you will be in a school. Now take another 7 years. Where are you now? Now you might be in high school. Then add another 7 years into it. Where you are now? You are in university, most probably. And adds other 7 years to it. Where you are now? You are having a family now. So divide your life into 7 years each. Take it, imagine like it is a box. You're taking as 7 years each. And all these 7 years self, ask these questions. For example, the first self, the moment you came into existence, you are as a baby, a small kid. That particular time, your parents might be there, your grandparents maybe your family. These peoples will be there, and you are a kid. And now ask these questions. Projection. How do you project yourself into the people surrounding you? And how do they project them onto you. This is called projection. Now, second question, it is expectation. What are you expecting from them? And what they are expecting from you? Ask this question. Third one, it is pattern. Can you see any pattern? Are you able to visualize any pattern of your thought at this particular point of time? To get more familiar with the pattern, the dream yoga is the best one. Keeping a dream journal is the best thing to do, which I have explained in my another video. Now, can you see any pattern? Creative potential. Of course, you have a potential. What you could have been. This question will be more sounding when you reach at the age of 7, 15, like that. At this particular time, you are just a baby. Maybe this question is not that much important at this particular state. When you go from state to state, this question has a potential. So, what kind of creative potential you were having at this particular point of time? And what you could have done in order to achieve that creative potential. This is some of the very best quality on you, which might be lost on the way when you grew up. And this question you have to ask when you are a baby. Now coming to the 7. At the age of 7, you are in school. Now you can visualize something which comes from maybe some imprints of the past self of you might be there. This will come into the picture. So ask these 4 questions. Projection, expectation, pattern, and creative potential. These 4 things. Ask your baby self, your 7-year-old self, your 14-year-old self, your 21-year-old self, your 28-year-old self, like that. Create, maybe make a note and ask these questions. This will greatly improve. This will greatly neglect the disowned shadow in you, which you've been suppressing, which you've been trying to erase, or which you've been trying to hide, this shadow. So try to analyze it in a great sense and make a note, make a journal and write down this question. Don't forget projection, expectation, pattern and creative potential. These 4 questions. Ask this. So this will actually help you to understand your own shadow. And if you work on this, if you accept that, this shadow will get reduced and that will give you more freedom. And understand that the modern psychology is about the sick people. It is all about to cure you. But Upanishads is not about curing you. It's about giving you experiential reality about the super consciousness. So if you stop here and you are feeling good and your creative potentials are coming out, if you stop there, that is not the place you have to stop. This is the place where you have to start. Drop your shadow self and start the Upanishad reality, which gives you much more freedom and much more understanding of you. Thank you for watching.